Welcome. Today, I want to just talk about top five skills that I think are essential to business analysts. So, you might be wanting to become a business analyst, but you're not sure what skills you have or what skills you need, is what I should be saying. You might be a business analyst, is kind of like thinking, what are the skills I need to develop? This could also help you. And so, in order to get started, I've compiled a list of the top five skills that I believe any business analyst should have, and even those who want to enter into business should be working on. And these skills include analytical skills, critical thinking skills, business knowledge or business domain knowledge, as it's also known, communication skills, and problem solving skills. The nice thing about these skills is that they're not just found in business analysis. In fact, there are so many different careers where you can find these skills. But later on in this blog, I will actually take you through some of the careers that actually do have these skills. But whilst we're here, at the bottom, I've put a link to my 13 strategies to getting into business analysis without any experience. Click on the link. It's a very useful guide to help you get into business and to actually just think a bit about out the box when it comes to your career. So who am I? I'm Paul. Hi, welcome to my blog today. I'm a business analyst and I help people like you to build their careers and their capability, even if you don't have experience. And how do I do this? I do this through coaching, and I do this through my career blueprint coaching and training, and through other training that I offer to business analysts like you. So if you're thinking of becoming a business, you need to develop these strong analytical skills, critical thinking skills, and business knowledge. And you'll need to be able to effectively communicate what you find from these skills, from using these skills to your stakeholders. So here are the top five skills. The first skill is analytical skills. Being analytical entails more than one might think. It not only does it include the ability to make sound judgments, but also being able to incorporate new data and to be able to solve intricate issues. And this set of skills is highly sought after in many professionals, as these kind of skills are difficult to come by in the marketplace, but they are quite easy to self-train yourself in. So as a business analyst, being able to understand and simplify customer needs is key. So much of your work as a business analyst will be focused on understanding data, understanding documents, understanding workflows, being able to find solutions for businesses that have specific problems. And to do this, good analytical skills are necessary for any business analyst who wants to be successful in the field. Being able to get into the nitty-gritty of understanding information and how it relates to make a clearer, bigger picture is essential. And this is where being able to analyze data, analyze concepts, being able to join the dots between different disparate pieces of information becomes a very useful skill for you as a business analyst. Hot on the heels of analytical thinking for business analysts is critical thinking skills. And critical thinking skills are an important part of problem solving and being able to make sound recommendations to your stakeholders. Business analysts need to be excellent at not only analytical thinking, but at critical thinking in order to find tangible solutions for their clients and their stakeholders. With critical thinking, business analysts are able to consider different choices, their benefits, the drawbacks, and choose what works best overall. So critical thinking is really being able to kind of really look in depth into the information that you have analyzed and being able to kind of critically assess that information to come up with ideas, to come up with concepts, to come up with solutions. Now, the thing about critical skills is that business analysis is not the only career out there that uses critical thinking skills. You think of air traffic controllers, you think of a computer programmer, technicians in the automotive industry. What about police officers when they're out working on the roads and policing and doing their jobs? They have to make constant critical thinking. An accountant has to look at the data or at the books of a company, at the financials, and come up with solutions or come up with the answers, and they apply critical thinking in order to get that. And I can go on with many lists of careers that use critical thinking. In fact, I want to add one more into that, if I may, because those are all kind of what might be seen as like higher education type careers. But even if you're working in something like a client service center, where you're answering telephones and you're answering client queries, you are, and I can guarantee this, you're using critical thinking skills in order to answer your client's questions. So first, your client asks you a question. They've got a problem. You're looking at the data within their profile or their account, and then you're applying a critical thinking skill based on that data to be able to come up with an answer for your client and a course of action that they might need to take. So you can see how analytical and critical thinking skills work together there, and how they're not just found in business analysis careers. And this is an important concept to understand, because what it means for you is that you don't need to wait till you're in the business analyst role in order to develop that skill. You can actually develop it within the job that you're currently in. And so the two main points that I want to bring out in this, and that you might already have the skill as a business analyst of critical thinking and even analytical thinking, because they are used in other careers. And the second point, which I kind of alluded to already, is that you don't need to wait until you're in a business analyst role in order to develop that skill and to develop experience in that skill in order to show that on your CV. The problem-solving skills is one of the other 5 essential problem-solving skills that I think a BA should have in their toolkit. We've been talking about analytical skills, critical thinking, problem-solving skills, business domain knowledge, and communication as the 5 essential skills that I believe a business analyst should have. And problem-solving skills are another important skill for business analysts, because oftentimes you'll be tasked by your organization or your manager to solve complex problems. And therefore, it's an important skill to be able to critically think through things and solve problems and come up with viable solutions. And this is kind of where it all starts to come together, because you're using your analytical skills to get to the root cause of the problem, using your critical skills to understand and really question the different parts, and to come up with viable solutions as you problem solve. So you can see how all of these skills are starting to work together for you as a business analyst. So being a good problem solver means that you need to be able to figure out things. You need to be able to come up with creative solutions. And you need to be able to find the strongest, best possible answer for your stakeholders. Problem-solving skills allow individuals to handle difficult or unexpected situations in the workplace, as well as complex business challenges. It's about being able to apply these skills to different work settings. It's about being able to apply and maintaining work relationships to help you in your problem solving, because you don't have all the answers. But part of problem solving is knowing who to include in that process of solving problem. And if you have problem solving skills, you'll be able to assess both of these kind of situations and calmly identify a solution and build up your problem solving skill set. Analytical and critical thinking comes into play because it helps business analysts to see beyond the surface and to understand the underlying problems, something we call root cause analysis. It's being able to take that complex problem and break it down into its components until you get down to the lowest level. An analytical and critical thinking allows business analysts to take the client's requirements and translate them into a clear solution, solving the problem that the client is trying to solve. Again, you can see how these skills are starting to work together. In the workplace, applying critical thinking and analytical thinking to problem solving guarantees us to get an accurate and timely problem solving solution by objectively spotting errors and inconsistencies in the data, in the process, or whatever it is you're analyzing, and to come up with viable options to overcome those. It's also about increasing efficiency when you come up with these viable solutions through your problem solving skills, and then helps the organization not to spend money needlessly on solutions that don't solve the problem. You can see how all these skills and other skills are now common across many careers. Even if you are, and I love to use the example of barista. As a barista, you are going to be problem solving. The coffee machine is not working and you need to figure out how to fix it. Maybe you can't fix it and you need to call in someone to help you fix it. Or being able to analyze the coffee machine that's broken and find out, this is what the issue, and then maybe you can fix yourself, or maybe you can call an expert and explain it to them. Again, communication skills come in. And I know this sounds like a very simplistic view, but it is the reality that these skills that we're talking about, including problem solving, are found in just about any career. Business knowledge or business domain knowledge is also an important skill for business analysts. In fact, it's probably one of my favorite, as I think it's an often undervalued skill in the toolkit of business analysts. And where you can often see the skill being played out is the difference between someone who has not worked in a business or corporate world before, maybe they're fresh out of university, versus someone who's worked for maybe 4 or 5 years in a business world and understands the world of business. And this is where you can see that skill kind of playing out. And it's a very important skill as a business analyst, because business knowledge is necessary for understanding the inner workings of businesses. It also helps us to shape our thinking, helps us to find solutions, because we can use our past knowledge or the knowledge we've learned from businesses. We can use our experiences in where we've worked in a business role, where something might not have worked or something might have worked, and we can use that business knowledge as part of our critical thinking, which is another skill that I think is important for business analysts. So we can take our experiences from our business experience, and we can apply the skill of critical thinking in order to come up with solutions, or to be able to find even more areas that we need to consider when we're doing the work of a business analyst. And like I've said before, it's probably one of the skills that I really think is undervalued by business analysts, the value of understanding business concepts, which includes understanding how business operate. It includes how the finances of a business work. It includes the kind of challenges, the processes, etc., that happen within a business. The key here as well is that whilst we have different industries of business, we've got like a health industry, we've got an industrial industry, we might have a property industry. And whilst they have unique processes within each one of them, and whilst they have unique contexts and experiences, we can learn a lot by looking at other business industries. We can learn a lot of what we learned in one industry and apply it in another. To give you an example of this, I've worked in many different industries, and I often take my experiences from the financial world, the financial banking world, asset management world that I've worked in and applied in industries that I work in now, like in government, local government, etc. So business domain knowledge, which is also business knowledge, is an important skill. And if you're wanting to enter into business, it's probably one of the top skills that you want to develop. Start to understand how business works. Start to understand how the processes work within your industry or within your business. Look at other companies, look at other industries and see what they do. See how you can see what they've learned and applied within your job right now. And remember, you don't need to be in a business analyst role in order to apply the business analyst skills. Another very important skill for you as a business analyst is being able to communicate. And one of the things I always say to people who wanting to get into business is that unless you can get on and communicate well with people, then business analysis is probably not the answer for you. Because here's the thing, as much as you can have all the technical skills, all the degrees, all the courses behind you, unless you're able to communicate with people, unless you're able to build relationships with people, that means nothing, because all those skills rely on you being able to communicate and to talk to someone. Being able to communicate effectively is essential for you as a business analyst. You will need to be able to communicate with stakeholders, such as your senior management team, maybe even a C-suite. You will need to communicate with clients and team members, project managers, and developers and all that. And what that means is that you have to have strong communication skills as a business analyst, as you will need to present your findings, and not only your findings, but be able to ask questions in the context, in the language, in the terminology that is relevant to your stakeholders. And you should be able to clearly explain your findings in an understandable way and be able to create these persuasive arguments that help persuade or influence your stakeholders to the value of your recommendations. And in that is an implied ability to be able to switch up your messaging. For instance, the way you might talk with a developer will be very different to the way you will talk or communicate with a senior stakeholder. At the developer level, for instance, you're probably going to be more in some of the technical jargon that the developer understands, whereas a senior stakeholder will never understand, or will seldom, is what I should say. Let me not underestimate senior stakeholders. There's some really technical guys out there, but they might not operate in that same terminology, and so you actually need to be able to communicate and translate that conversation. Another thing is that the level of detail that you go into with the developer might be at a much more granular level than as a senior stakeholder. So additionally to these communication skills, you should have good interpersonal skills. I talked about the relationship earlier. And this is so that you can effectively collaborate with people from different levels and different disciplines and from different backgrounds and cultures in order to obtain the necessary information for your analysis. Again, I said, business analysis is a people career. You need to be able to get on with people, and you should be able to calmly handle difficult conversations and address any disagreements or misunderstandings that might affect the accuracy of your findings. One thing to remember as well is don't neglect your public speaking skills. It's so important to be able to stand up and speak in front of an audience as a business. And it's one of the reasons why I do conference speaking, because it's one of the things that has improved my ability to stand up and do things like this. There was a time in life where I wouldn't be caught dead doing this. I wouldn't be caught dead standing in front of an audience because I would just freak out. And I also recognize that public speaking is not for everyone, but it is an important skill to be able to communicate with people. So strong communication skills will ensure that your message is clear, concise, and persuasive, as a business analyst. So wrapping this up, we've talked about analytical skills, we've talked about the problem solving skills, we've talked about critical skills, and we have talked about business knowledge, and we've also talked about communication. And what I want to do is just quick in the next couple of seconds, just to kind of wrap this up by just giving you kind of an illustration of how this works. So we given a problem or something that we need to look into. So we use our analytical skills to understand and to get an in-depth knowledge of it. We use our critical thinking skills to help us, together with our problem-solving skills, to actually solve the problem and come up with realistic, viable solutions. And we use not only our technical skills, we use not only our business analysis skills, the other skills that we use, or tools that we have learned, but we also use and rely a lot on our business knowledge. What have we learned from our past? What have we learned in other jobs? What have we learned in other projects? And how can we apply this to these skills? And then we use our communication skills, not only whilst we apply all these skills in order to get to the solving of the problem, but we also use it to communicate the results back to our stakeholders. So these are the top 5 skills that I believe that you as a business analyst, or if you're wanting to enter business analyst, you should have. And I will do some more videos around each of these skills. So keep coming back to this channel to look for these videos where I'll just unpack each one of these 5 skills in more detail.